So this is going to be a video about how to replace the battery in a Game Boy cartridge without losing your pre-existing save by replacing a CR2032 with a 3.8mm security bit. So what usually in most cases these batteries last for about 15 years and then they die and then you can't save anymore. So you got to do this preemptively. You got to do it to your current existing cartridge before your battery dies. And the way you do that is you take it apart, you plug it in, and then you got to supply power to it. And then in addition to just supplying power, you have to actually load your save because it transfers the file and the data from the chip that it's on onto the actual ROM chip. And here you can see my Pokemon from my pre-existing save. And we're going to take it off while it's open on and the save is loaded. It's very important that you load the save to put it onto the cartridge ROM chip itself. So we want to do this very delicately and very carefully. So that's why we're going to get it nice and steady, and we're going to actually secure it down with some tape. And while it's secured down with tape, that way, because you don't want to nudge the cartridge or you don't want to bump it and accidentally lose power, because then if that happens, this will all be for nothing. So we're going to secure it down, and then we're going to go ahead and start to desolder the battery and remove it. So you just heat up the solder joint and you just suck off the solder. So this whole process, like I said, you want to do it very carefully because you don't want to nudge anything. And if you want to replace the battery, if the battery is dead, you just do the same thing. You just don't plug it in because you won't need to because the battery's already dead. So just replace it. So here we're just continuing to remove the solder by heating it up real good, making sure we get as much off as possible, and then we'll just be able to pry it up with your thumb or with anything else. And as you go to begin to pry, you heat up the solder again to get it loose, and you just keep doing that. And then eventually you'll be able to just peel it right on off, and there it goes. So you can replace the battery with pretty much any cell battery like this, as long as it's a 3-volt lithium. It could be the CR2032, CR2016, CR2025, but we're going to use CR2032, and right here we're just adding some solder, and you can actually see my reflection in the solder. It's kind of cool. So we're just adding some solder, and we're using one of these batteries that already has the little clips mounted onto the battery just to make it easier. Where they're $1. You can buy them in bulk. You buy them for $1. You can find them anywhere. But if you don't have one of these batteries, if you don't order it, you can make your own little connection to get it working. You could reuse the pre-existing tabs on the battery and just hot glue it down. But I like to avoid using hot glue at all costs. So right here, now that we have it lined up and the pads are tinned, we're just going to apply some pressure, and we're just going to heat up the solder and then flow it over. It didn't fully cover, so we're going to add a little bit more solder, and there you go. You see my reflection in the solder again. So yeah, a lot of pressure applied, and just add a little bit more solder. Wiggled maybe a little bit, so we want to put more pressure and more solder. And then at the end, we're going to see if this all worked. We're going to see if my save is still intact. We're going to see if this works. But the battery's clearly replaced, but the whole point of doing it while it's plugged in and on and the save's transferred is to make sure that we keep our save. Because this save's from 10 years ago, and I mean, of course you want to keep it. So now that the new battery's in, game's still on, save's still loaded, but the real test is taking the cartridge out and then plugging it back in to see if it still works. So we're going to do that right now. It's the moment of truth. Just screw it back in. These Game Boy cartridges are nice. It's just one little screw that holds it in, then you have access to the chip. A 3.8mm security bit is what they used. Same thing for other cartridges. It's a 3.8 millimeter and a 4.5 millimeter. All right. Game Boy cartridge goes back in. Let's load up this save. We're going to fast forward through the intro screen because we've all seen it a million times. And let's see that save file. And there it is with my 60 hours of gameplay still intact with a new battery. Yay. And there's the old battery. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Check out all our other videos. We do a lot of videos like this. And thank you very much. I'll see you next time.